اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الأئمة والمهديين وسلم تسليما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I'm Nasar al-Mahdi and you're listening to door number 16 of The Goal of the Wise. And in today's episode, we are talking about the human ego. So as usual, Abba Sadiq, from him is peace, Labaik ya Abba Sadiq, he always has a seal in every door. And in this specific door, the seal contains what looks to be like two faces, one on the left and one on the right. So what is this about? Now he's talking about the human ego here. Two faces. Yeah, kind of makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? So let's continue on. So as usual with every single chapter of the book, The Goal of the Wise, there is a quote which he uses. And here in this specific element, it is deny yourself. Obviously this is in relation to the human ego. So let's get into it, shall we? Bismillah. The human ego, known as the I, the self, the ana or the nafs, is a villain in most religions. It is the great evil force that causes us to fall. We have heard Jesus, peace be upon him, say, deny yourself. And there is a reference here about that. And the reference is the Holy Bible book of Matthew chapter 16 verse 24. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family say, the greatest jihad is against one's own self. And the reference for that is number 2, and that is in Mizal al-Hikmah, Scale of Wisdom, Muhammad al-Shahri, volume 1, page 453. And we have heard Imam Ali, from him his peace, say, every person's devil is his own self. And the reference for that is in Sharnaj al-Balagha, Ibn Abi al-Hadid, volume 20, page 292. So every prophet and messenger to ever walk the earth has taught a doctrine of self-denial, or fighting against the self, evil inclinations, and annihilating the ego. However, what is the self exactly? Imam Ahmad al-Hasan, from him his peace, said about the self, referring to the nafs, the self is created by our works. We make it good or evil. It is our deeds that discipline it, and the self resides in the chest area. The chest area. It is something which we feel but do not see. Have you ever felt it? Do you ever feel something in your chest? Whenever you hear good news or upsetting news, do you place your hands on your chest involuntarily? Or are you the type of person who places his hand on his head or his chest when he hears a news which makes him happy or saddens him? Or whenever he hears news, he strikes his thighs, right? The Imam, from him his peace, continued to expand on how one can evaluate which aspect is stronger, the self or the soul, from our involuntary movements. Whoever strikes their head, that means that their soul is stronger than their self. And whoever's self and soul are equal in strength strikes thighs in these conditions. And whoever has a self that is stronger than his soul will strike their chest. You know how you see the people when they get angry, they go, ooh, you know, they bang on their chest, or they do this, right? And the self is a formation of the senses. It is formed by the sense of hearing, sight, touching, and tasting. It is from these senses that the self begins to form, and then the self is divided into two parts. The first part being the good self, and the second being the evil self. For example, if you speak something which is haram or forbidden, then you are feeding the bad self. If you hear something forbidden or look at something which is forbidden, it will all be food for the evil self. The opposite of that is true for the good self, until you reach a point where you either grow the good self by your deeds or your bad self by your deeds. And one of them shall be victorious over the other and will control the other. And the result is known in both cases. Good deeds are more powerful, meaning the effect that a good deed has on the good self is more powerful than the effect that an evil deed has on the bad self. This means that if the good self receives 2 degrees by one deed, the bad self would receive 1 degree with 2 evil deeds. And there is a quote here, O mankind, fear your Lord who created you from one self and created from it its mate and dispersed from both of them many men and women. And the reference for that is 4, and it's in the Holy Quran, chapter 4, Surah An-Nasar, verse number 1. Literally the first verse of that chapter. The self here and its mate are the good self and the evil self, and not all creatures have a self. This means that there are humans who do not have selves and only have souls. For the verse said, many men and women, right? That's what it said in there. If you have a look here again. dispersed from both of them many men and women. So it says here, for the verse said many men and women, and it did not say all men and women. Rather, he specified that a large group has a self. The soul also is affected by our deeds, and even if there is only a minority that only have souls with no self, that does not mean that they are better. The minority that do not have a self are the angels, who have become humans, and this is something that we have today. We have Gabriel and Michael and Raphael, peace be upon them, and they have incarnated in human form, and they are between us and present in all ages. The next element of this chapter is called differences between the self, reassured self, and the soul. I asked the Imam Ahmad al-Hassan from him his peace about the differences between the self and the soul. The Imam from him his peace responded, the soul is what reincarnates when a person dies. What dies of him? The body dies, and the soul has characteristics which remain with it and accompany it from body to body. I asked the Imam from him his peace, then the self dies with the body, correct? The Imam from him his peace said, yes, only the reassured self does not die. I said, what is the reassured self? May I be your ransom? The Imam from him his peace said, the reassured self is this cluster of all the feelings and emotions which is inside every creature. The reassured self is the self which is in a state of harmony with the pure soul that inhabits the same body which it inhabits. It is called the reassured self because it is reassured with the pure soul in its body. So I said, then it is the evil self that dies? The Imam from him his peace said, the self which is not reassured has no value. So I asked, so what is the thing that lives forever in punishment if the evil self dies and disappears from existence? The Imam from him his peace said, the soul is what lives forever in punishment. So I asked, and what lives forever in heaven is the reassured self? The Imam from him his peace said, no, it is the soul, and it is accompanied by the reassured self. They unite and become one. The Lord of the self is the soul. And there's a quote here, O reassured self, return to your Lord well pleased and pleasing to him. The reference for this is 5. So if we go down here, it says here, that's mentioned in the Holy Quran, chapter 89, Surah Al-Fajr, verses 27 to 28. I asked the Imam from him his peace, if the soul is the Lord of the self, what about the 2 angels who write down our good deeds and our bad deeds? The Imam from him his peace said, let me correct a piece of information for you. Do you know who these 2 angels are? They are 2 ears and 2 eyes, 2 lips and 2 hands, 2 feet and 2 testicles. Those are the ones whom people think are angels. They are your senses. The right senses record the good deeds which you do, and the left senses record the evil which the human does. And there is a quote here, do you consider yourself to be a small entity while within you is enfolded the greater universe? And there is a reference for that, I'll come to that in just a moment. Peace be upon you, O Prince of the Believers, Ali ibn Abi Talib. I shall discipline you, my son. You shall be a great leader, knowledgeable, powerful and strong and courageous, insightful and wise. Verily God has made the human being a witness upon his own self and a watcher over his own self. And God made the body of the human being a witness upon itself. I said, Subhanallah, glory be to Allah. At the same time, God covers up the sins of every person from everyone except their own selves. The Imam from him his peace said, good job. Verily, God is merciful and covering of mistakes. The reference for number 6 there is here. It says Ayan al-Shia, Sayyid Mohsin al-Amin, volume 1, page 552. So the Imam from him his peace said, good job. Verily, God is merciful and covering of mistakes. I asked about the following hadith. When God created the self, he asked it, who am I? So the self responded, who am I? 7 is the reference for that. And that is in here, Mashriq Anwar al-Yaqeen al-Hafiz Rajab al-Borsi, page 21. And from here we know that when the self was first created, it thought it was God. Imam Ahmad al-Hassan from him his peace said that the true believer makes his soul victorious over the self. Teach the believers that if one of their brothers makes a mistake, let them be the first to apologize, even if they were not at fault. The next element of this chapter is called Discipline is more important than knowledge. the Imam from whom is peace talks about the critical importance of morals, manners and ethical discipline that will be necessary for all the challenges facing humanity. These teachings are the foundation of any divinely guided community. Teach them these great manners, discipline them, and prepare them for what's coming. I need such a community. Discipline is more important than knowledge. Morals and manners are above all. Knowledge can be given to someone at any time, but if a person is raised wrong, then it is very difficult to correct them. It is like a tree which grows crooked. Correcting that and making the tree straight is very difficult. Discipline is more important than everything, and learning how to expect good and elevate in dealing with others, and how to be the perfect reflection of this religion and perfect image of Ahmad al-Hassan to the people. This is greater and more important than anything else that they learn. Teach them how the believer amongst them should be ready to sleep on the dust of the ground in order that their brother or sister sleeps on a bed, and how the believer does not eat before he has checked to make sure that his brother or sister have eaten, or that food is available for them. Teach them how each of them should prefer the other over their own selves. Teach them how they should be like a solid building, and how one should be for all and all for one. Teach them how to disintegrate and love human beings. Teach them that my brother comes first and I come last. And finally, teach them that loving oneself is disbelief and loving others is goodness and faith. The next element of this chapter is called Evaluating the Self. Give victory. The following dialogue focuses on how to self-assess and evaluate one's own moral character. More importantly, the Imam from whom is peace provides methods for giving victory to one's soul. I asked the Imam Ahmad al-Hassan from whom is peace, how can a person know if it is his self which is in control or his soul? The Imam from whom is peace said, whenever something happens which instigates the self, do anything to crush it. Crush it with your feet. Push, and you shall be relieved immediately afterwards. If you do this and feel at peace, then know that the soul has crushed the self, and you shall feel peace and reassurance, and the opposite is true. I said, then the goal that we have in this world is to fight oneself and abandon it. The Imam from whom is peace said, my son, as soon as the people abandon selfishness, and as soon as they prefer others over their own selves, the world shall be a world of light, and you shall not find in it a single poor person or needy person or hungry person or scared person. That is the most important thing for humans to do, to prefer others over their own selves. My brother first, my sister first. I said, I, the one who is speaking to you, and sometimes jokes, and I have certain characteristics and traits, and certain moods. What is this, the self, or the soul, or the body? The Imam from whom is peace said, the self and human senses. I said, what else remains of me then? The Imam from whom is peace said, your soul is different. You shall see the difference during the rise. You shall change, and the soul will be the only one operating, and you shall be very harsh with no mercy. I said, then mercy with the disbelievers is from the self, and mercy towards the believers and harshness with the disbelievers is from the soul? The Imam from whom is peace said, it is from the self which has been raised upon certain human understandings, and each according to their own their environment in which they were raised. You shall see for yourself. You won't forgive even the smallest of things, and you will not return to your natural state until after that time passes. I said, so in general, when the human being passes away, what is it that travels to the other side? The Imam from whom is peace said, the soul. I said, and the self completely dissipates? The Imam from whom is peace said, the body disintegrates. I said, so for example, it is like when a person is playing a video game. The main character or avatar whom we are playing, it has a body and a personality in the game, and we are the ones moving and controlling it? The Imam from whom is peace said, yes, great job. I said, and when the game is over, the only thing remaining is the person playing the game. The Imam from whom is peace said, you have now given the best of examples and most accurate. I said, and then you find the human being sometimes saying some words or imitating some moves from what the character in the game used to say or do, meaning the gamer is influenced by the game a little bit. But other than that, the character remains only as a memory in the mind of the gamer. The Imam from whom is peace said, exactly, and the soul cannot be overpowered. If the soul is annoyed by the self, the soul leaves, it goes away. We are speaking about the good soul in this case. I said, well, what about the bad soul? Does it continue enjoying the video game in a drunken state? The Imam, from him is peace, said, the evil soul is the one who disfigures the self more and more, and as such the disfigurement of the self is more and more reflected through the creature's actions. I said, when the good soul leaves the body, is it replaced by an evil soul, or could it, hypothetically speaking, remain an empty vessel? The Imam, from him is peace, said, it is not always the case that the good soul is replaced with an evil one. I said, so in the end, would the existence of the person with no soul, who is just a self and a body upon death, just end without there being for it hellfire or anything? The Imam, from him is peace, said, the body has a special punishment. It can return as an animal or insect, as I have previously informed you. If you want to look about the reincarnation or incarnation, then there is a chapter which is linked below where you can go and learn about that specific element of the book. I said, then mask is the return of the body or the recreation of the body as an animal. The Imam, from him is peace, said, mask is the reincarnation of the evil soul in the body of the person who became a mask, meaning from the same clay or the same materials which previously decomposed. I said, so if the soul went out of a person and it wasn't replaced with an evil soul, then the person died with no soul. He was only at the point a body and a self. Do they have special punishment, or is the punishment the cessation of existence? The Imam, from him is peace, said, yes, you could say that, but if we really delve into it, he would be tormented first and he would take what he deserves. I said, Subhanallah, glory be to God. And is everyone who is killed at the hands of the Mahdi someone with a soul? The Imam, from him is peace, said, for sure they are an evil soul and a filthy self, and they will never ever have any intercession accepted for them. I said, so these souls are worse than Iblis? The Imam, from him is peace, said, yes, they are worse. I said, God's curse is upon them. Subhanallah. So the next element of the book is called DMT, spirit molecule. One day I asked Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, from him is peace, there is a substance called DMT that is present in everything alive, plants, animals, human beings. It is said that this substance is released by the brain when we dream or at death, and that it causes hallucinations as well. People who have used DMT remember feeling as if their souls are going out of their bodies, and they see other worlds which they cannot understand, and they see creatures which talk to them. They call it the spirit molecule. Is this substance the connecting substance between worlds, my father? And does our brain naturally release it when we are in a deep meditative states? The Imam, from him is peace, replied and said, it is the opening that we spoke about. It is elevation, and as you said, it is the connecting substance. I said, it is very powerful and makes you feel as if you are dying in the beginning, and then suddenly you find yourself in space, in other worlds. What are these creatures, my father? Are they souls? Are they people who have not incarnated yet? The Imam, from him is peace, said, all creatures have DMT in them in varying amounts. For example, you have a lot in you, whilst someone else has a small amount. You have a lot, and other than you have a little, all in accordance. I asked, so dependent on the amount already within my body, if I took DMT, for example, the effect would be larger than a person who had a little amount in their body? The Imam, from him is peace, said, it depends on the spiritual, psychological and moral condition of the human being, and upon his beliefs and his faith and certitude. Here is an example between your hands. 2 rubber balloons. One of them is small while the other is large. If you put an amount of air in the large one and it expands to its maximum, then you put the same amount of the air into the small balloon, what will happen? I said, it will explode. The Imam, from him is peace, said, exactly. It is as such exactly with the substance DMT. I said, and the world we transport to is the world of the dead? The Imam, from him is peace, said, it depends. Perhaps you would go to the world of the living. I said, so it is a portal to whatever frequency the person is vibrating at. And the Imam, from him is peace, replied saying, exactly. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So this chapter, we've reached the end. I'd like to thank you for watching this episode. And, please do read it again, or please watch the video again and really reflect and contemplate on actually what's being said here. And the next door we have is door number 17, and it's about the archangels. So I'd like to say God bless you all and thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.